Oh, here, the BBC. Elon Musk tells the BBC about painful Twitter takeover, an exclusive interview. We're going to start with this. I'm going to go pee real quick.
Let's get down to business, and we start with the exclusive interview
I'll be back in a second.
in San Francisco between Elon Musk and our technology correspondent James Clayton. It is one of his first interviews since he bought Twitter for $44 billion. He defended his decision to lay off a massive number of staff, saying that Twitter only had 4 months to live unless drastic measures were taken.
In rough numbers, revenue dropped from $4.5 billion to $3 billion, and expenses went from $4.5 billion to $6 billion, creating a $3 billion negative cash flow situation, and Twitter having $1 billion in the bank. That's 4 months to live. So unless drastic action was taken immediately, this company is going to die and be owned by the banks.
Let's talk about that drastic action, because almost immediately you sacked a lot of Twitter workers. And I spoke to them. It was very easy to speak to them when it happened. And the way they said, pretty much everyone said, is that it felt quite haphazard.
It was.
And it felt a little bit uncaring.
I wouldn't say uncaring. The issue is like the company's either going to go bankrupt, or if we do not cut costs immediately, this is not a caring, uncaring situation. It's like if the whole ship sinks, then nobody's got a job.
Right.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just lost their jobs like that, and they weren't. They didn't even know they'd lost their jobs often. They just were just frozen out of their accounts.
What would you do?
Well, you might want to give someone some notice. I mean, you might. By the way, I'm not running Twitter, but,
I know, but
this is the criticism, and this is what staff members say. A little bit of notice, No,
I understand. If you have 4 months to live, 120 days. In 120 days, you're dead. So what do you want to do?
How much are you worth?
I don't know.
But we're talking about around the $200 billion mark. I mean, it's not quite. You're framing it in a way that it had a few months to live.
I already don't like what's going on here. What the fuck's happening? Did this guy get owned by Elon Musk? Is this controlled opposition? What the fuck is this? You should never, under any circumstance, get owned by Elon Musk. It should be illegal to be owned by Elon Musk. You did not own him, and he got owned by him? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, God, that's so bad. I hate that.
You're quite a rich man.
I sold a lot of Tesla stock to close this deal. I did not want to sell the Tesla stock.
In what was quite a lengthy interview, Elon Musk also said he is confident that the social media platform Twitter will become profitable again and advertisers will return. Let's have a listen to this.
In terms of advertising, obviously Twitter's not a private company anymore, so we don't really know how it's all going. Have all the advertisers come back?
Not all, but most.
And
you can see it for yourself on Twitter, even in the For You feed.
Yeah, no, totally. That's why I keep getting fucking like Matt Walsh ads or ads about some fucking Jesus movie. That's bullshit. But he can lie about it because it's a private company. Who's going to fucking check him? Wow, someone should really tell Elon Musk that he's lying about his company. Like, yeah, of course.
Right.
I mean, in the following feed.
Don't
use For You because it sucks.
Right.
Filled with hate speech, I'm told.
That's not what I said.
Okay, fine. Well, why don't you use For You? What's wrong with it?
How is it going? Is Twitter in profit now?
No, Twitter is rough. I'd say we're rough.
This guy already is just the worst interviewer of all time. Elon Musk is here because he knows very well. Elon Musk is here with a different purpose than this guy is. When you're going to interview someone like this who loves right-winger content, who like is, a right-winger himself, he's coming at it to look like Jordan Peterson, okay? He's not there to have like an actual interview. He's there to avoid the top of the hour ad breaks, which come at the top of every hour, and he is ready. He is already subscribed, which is the best way to avoid the top of the hour ad breaks. he is subscribed for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime, or he has gotten gifted a sub. Those are the ways to avoid the top of the hour ad breaks. Okay? Here's the thermon ad break now. He's glazing up the interview because he knows it was a softball. Yeah. I do say that in the interview, I have a lot of respect for the BBC. Not organization is perfect, of course, but the BBC overall quite good. Yeah, of course he's fucking glazing the BBC. They sucked them.
Roughly break even at this point.
And I think you've said before you see a world where you could be in profit. Is there a timeline on that, do you think?
I mean, depending on how things go, if current trends continue, I think we could be profitable, or, I mean, I'd say, to be more precise, we could be cash flow positive this quarter if things keep going well.
This quarter, as soon as that.
Fucking cap, brother. What the fuck? That's insane. Bro. If you fucking ask that, you better have some goddamn follow-up to be like, all of these advertisers have pulled. Like, you're a journalist. You could go to the advertisers and ask. OMD, for example, or Ogilvy, or any number of like major ad companies, whether or not they have stood by their original take that they were pulling their ads out of Twitter. You can come to this interview with armed with the answers. You can turn around and go, well, here, as journalists, we did our fucking jobs, and we went to some of your top sponsors, top advertisement buyers, right? And we asked them if they are still working, and it seems like they're still not working with you guys. So what do you have to say to that? How have you made up the lack of revenue from all of these major companies that have said that they're pulling out of Twitter? Okay? How have you made up that revenue? How? Especially because Elon Musk is like a known con man. He does this all the time. He's like, self-driving cars are coming. Oh, COVID is ending in like a week. M-Hud says, I've manually blocked every promoted tweet for 6 years and I don't see any lately. Holy fuck. Elon Musk is going to go into your account and fucking unscrew that so you are forced to see all the promoted tweets and they go fucking crazy. No, you can't do that. For the record, this is not just Elon Musk. Most CEOs are trained to be this way. They're trained to defend the company, and for that purpose, they will lie. So you should have this level of preparation, and you should have this level of training before you cover any CEO of any corporation.
Possibly, yeah.
Wow. And do you have a message for the advertisers? I mean, can you say which advertisers haven't come back?
I think almost all of them have either come back or...
Elon doesn't lie, though. Yeah, no, you're right. Elon has never lied. Battery swaps are happening currently. The Tesla truck the Cybertruck is in full-blown production. Everyone's driving around with it. Everyone's driving around with the Roadsters that are, mass consumed. This is a big banger. Everyone is driving their self-driving cars, which is pretty cool. We're on Mars. There's a boring tunnel in Los Angeles now, which has greatly greatly reduced traffic. The Hyperloop is real. I mean, it's all, COVID was over 2 weeks after he said COVID will be over in 2 weeks. It was crazy when it ended in April 2020. I mean, Tesla did secure funding and actually went private at 420. And that the diver in Thailand was actually indeed a pedophile. All of that stuff worked out. Neuralink is super successful and totally not killing every monkey that it's been tested on, so much so that like the ethics committee had to put an end to some of the Neuralink tests because of just like the insane cruelty that it was. For
8 years, Elon Musk has been saying
what is
he would
this?
deliver a self-driving car in a year or so. He still isn't close.
A Tesla car next year will probably be 90% capable of autopilot. Like, so 90% of your miles could be on auto.
We're probably only a month away from having autonomous driving, at least for highways and for relatively simple roads.
Dude, sorry. How can I forget? Hold on. The funniest one. I will step down as Twitter CEO if this poll ends up causing me to step down from Twitter CEO. I will also only make major decisions about Twitter via polls. I also bought Twitter for free speech purposes and certainly wasn't actually fucking owned by the Delaware courts and forced to buy it, which I tried to fight in the court system.
The Model S and Model X at this point can drive autonomously with greater safety than a person right now. We're still on track for being able to go cross country from LA to New York by the end of the year, fully autonomous. But next year, for sure, we will have over 1 million robo-taxis on the road.
It's so crazy that he just like lies all the fucking time, like nonstop. And there are still people after all of his like patently obvious abject fucking failures on the timeline and how thin-skinned of an egomaniacal man baby he is. You still have people going, nah, dog, you don't understand. He's a billionaire. He fucking did this. Elizabeth Holmes did the same shit as him. Yeah, except Elizabeth Holmes, the biggest problem for Elizabeth Holmes is that like there's no fucking green credit swap scheme that Elizabeth Holmes could fucking generate revenue for her shareholders on. And the entire process was built on lies, but at least Elon Musk ultimately delivered vehicles. You know, there are Teslas on the roads. And even though the company was going bankrupt or near insolvent many, many times throughout his career, as he kept lying and lying and lying, he was still able to fucking get through it. He is a successful con man. That's the difference.
I'm extremely confident of achieving full autonomy and releasing it to the Tesla customer base next year.
When do you think Tesla will solve level 4 FSD?
I mean, it's looking quite likely that it will be next year.
What about all the successful things he's done? Wait, what do you mean? What does that? People don't understand the legislation for something like self-driving cars to be permitted. Yeah, it's the legislation that's preventing Elon. You're right. So, yeah, brother, listen. Ultimately, given the dynamic of capitalism and how the markets work, Elon Musk has done something very successfully, and that is con people into thinking that he is like this brilliant inventor, and people respond positively to that. They think that he is a brilliant a brilliant inventor, and they trust him. And every time he lies, no matter what happens, every single time he fucking lies, his stock prices, the Tesla stock goes up.
Said they're going to come back. There are very few exceptions.
Can you say any of the exceptions?
I actually don't know of anyone who said definitively they're not coming back. They're all sort of trending towards coming back.
But there are some that just haven't.
Jumping in the water's warm. It's great.
That's your message to the advertisers that haven't come back.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Like, even the quickest thing you could do is, if advertisers were coming back and fighting one another over, your inventory space, why did you do an insane, door-busting sale for $500K plus advertisement dollars being spent offers you double the amount of inventory? Like, why did you do that? How can you consider the Twitter Blue initiative that you launched as anything but an abject failure when it only generated $11 million in additional revenue? Why do you think that Twitter Blue was originally going to be the only verification protocol, but then Twitter users kept saying, well, why would anyone buy a verification if everyone only knows that the verification implies you paid for it, completely destroying the need for verification? Why did you say that you were going to eradicate the legacy verifications on your platform and kept it going when you realized that that's the only reason why people buy the Twitter Blue anyway, to dupe people into thinking that they're actually verified? Point of clarification, that 11 million was over 3 months, so it's a bit under 4 million monthly. Yeah, these are things that I can just come up with off the top dome because I've just basically covered it. Like, I've covered this story, I tracked it, and there's plenty that I'm forgetting, right? SpaceX was the first to make self-landing rocket booster. Yeah, no, it's great. SpaceX is great. It's just, I wish that it was still NASA instead of another way to fucking outsource to private companies what used to be government funding. It just literally takes government scientists, government funds, and then reappropriates it back to a third-party contractor so that Elon can reap the fucking results and the benefits. He just said they've come back, and now he's saying they're coming back. Reporters should fucking call him out on that. Yeah, there's so many fucking inconsistencies in this conversation. Elon didn't create SpaceX. He bought it. He didn't create Tesla. He bought it. And ultimately, it doesn't matter. It's not like Elon is the one who's creating these fucking, inventions and innovations. Anyway, he's hiring scientists to do it. And he's reaping the rewards and running around like he's fucking Tony Stark. A list of Elon's lies over the years. Elon Musk today, like Donald Trump, but for nerds. Waiting on the Content Moderation Council. 166 days since Elon Musk promised Twitter would reinstate banned accounts without first creating a diverse Content Moderation Council, which was a lie. 144 days since Elon Musk reinstated Trump's banned account without establishing any sort of Content Moderation Council. Here it is. He said Twitter will be forming a Content Moderation Council with widely diverse viewpoints. No major content decisions or account reinstatements will happen before that council convenes. Trump will be reinstated, Elon Musk said in a tweet, which, by the way, was actually democratically voted on. Another thing that he said was he was going to make only large decisions on Twitter with oh my God, that's such a good fucking take. SpaceX is a ghost kitchen. The Everything app. Buying Twitter is an accelerant to creating X, the Everything app. He wants to do literally the same thing that China does, but for Twitter. So let's see what happens with that. I don't know why the fuck anyone would put all of their information on Twitter like that, but when he awkwardly blurted out on Joe Rogan, a lot of people don't realize I'm the lead engineer at SpaceX. Tesla will find itself. 216 days since Elon Musk said Tesla would start paying customers when service appointments are rescheduled with little notice in order to be fair. Yeah, good job. That never happened. Yeah, good luck, by the way. If you are a Tesla owner, Murat? Oh shit. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Is that Chick-fil-A? God damn. This is salad? I'm proud of you. You're fucking killing it. You look skinny. You already lost 5 pounds? Congratulations. I'm shitting on Elon Musk right now. You don't believe that. Shut up. Sue everyone. 327 days since Elon Musk announced he was building a new litigation department at Tesla for the purpose of suing people after he was accused of offering a horse in exchange for sexual services. Remember when he went to Twitter and he said, I'm going to find the greatest Twitter lawyers of all time to build an Avengers team of lawyers. And then he never did that. Possibly because he realized how fucking stupid that would be. Rocket fuel solves climate change. SpaceX is starting a program to take CO2 out of the atmosphere and turn it into rocket fuel. Good luck with that initiative. 1,000 times all Earth combined. 520 days since Elon Musk promised 1,000 times all the other orbital payload on Earth. The Starship fleet is designed to achieve over 1,000 times more payload to orbit than all other rockets on Earth combined. Bitcoin pollution good, but also bad. 720 days since Elon Musk explained Bitcoin helps solve climate change by burning coal. 700 days since Elon Musk explained Bitcoin helps cause climate change by burning coal. We are concerned about rapidly increasing use of fossil fuels for Bitcoin mining and transactions, especially coal, which is the worst emissions. HODL. Bitcoin paid to Tesla will be retained as Bitcoin, not converted to fiat currency. Uploading the FSD button any minute now. 753 days since Elon Musk announced the FSD button and V9 of FSD will be uploaded soon. Speed will double to 300 MB and latency will drop to 20 milliseconds this year. I'm not an Elon simp stating SpaceX made the first self-landing rocket is just a fact. Jesus fucking Christ. No, I don't disagree with you, Peanut McFly. Stop fucking shadowboxing with weirdos in the chat and respond to what I said then, which is that the only way that they were able to do that, was not through Elon Musk, by the way, but they did it with NASA scientists, with NASA funding, with research that they built on top of with the fucking literal NASA scientists that NASA had paved the way for. That absolutely could have been done in-house, okay? It's just silly as fuck to say like, oh, Elon played any significant role in that. Isn't that true with every invention? Yes, it is true with most inventions. Something that I talk about all the time, especially more important in the field of medicine, in the field of coming up with novel chemical compounds, for example. It is a very common misconception that capitalism fosters innovation. It is a very common misconception that America is the most innovative place for novel chemical compounds when you actually look at per capita novel chemical compound inventions, America is not number one at all. Now, having said all this, it is especially true for NASA because a lot of this was done in-house. A lot of this was done through public funding and was a public facility. Does that make sense? Do you get it? Jay Clayton's self-respect, SEC three-letter acronym, middle word is Elon's, adopting a bohemian life. Yeah, I don't care about half these other things. Kids are essentially immune, but elderly with existing conditions are vulnerable just to flu. Teslas are boats. A Tesla works as a boat for short periods of time as an electric car, has no intake or exhaust to block. Battery, motor, electronics are water sealed. What? That is one of the most insane things I've ever heard. All Tesla supercharger stations in regions affected by California power outages will have Tesla power packs within the next few weeks, just waiting on permits. Spooling solar, spooling up production line rapidly, hoping to manufacture 1,000 solar roofs /week by the end of this year. Robo-taxi network. The fundamental message consumers should be taking today is that it is financially insane to buy anything other than a Tesla. It'll be like owning a horse in 3 years. 1,533 days since Elon said Tesla would be cash flow positive in all quarters going forward. I am optimistic about being profitable in Q1 in all quarters going forward. That's what he said in 1/30/2019. Will use SpaceX cold gas thruster system with ultra high pressure air in a composite overwrap pressure vessel in place of the 2 rear seats. 1,554 days since Elon Musk said that a new Roadster will use rocket technology that will allow it to fly. Magical brake pads, since Elon said brake pads on a Tesla would never need to be replaced. Literate Teslas said Tesla should be able to read and understand parking signage by the end of 2019. Service centers everywhere. In 2018, Elon said Tesla service centers would work to expand to all of North America in 36 months. That's the funniest one. I feel like when you hear a lot of this stuff, especially if you are a Tesla owner or if you have ever owned a Tesla in your lifetime, you probably go, oh, that makes this extra worse. A lot of motherfuckers who dick ride Elon, ironically, don't have a Tesla, so they don't know how laughable some of these lies are. And even dangerous how some of these lies are. Like the brake pad thing. Okay? Yeah, a lot of people say like, oh, LeBron lies all the time, but nobody thinks about how much Elon lies. Tesla Kila. He did actually come out with a Tesla Kila, technically. It wasn't mass produced, but he came out with like one tequila that he branded as like in a Tesla. It was limited edition. Laser space glass. Tesla owners can refer someone to buy a Tesla and get any image they want, laser etched in glass and sent to deep space for millions of years. Tesla built car carrier. Elon Musk said Tesla would start producing car carriers due to the car carrier shortage. Elon Musk said SpaceX would probably build a base on Mars by 2028. Elon Musk announced that Tesla's body shop was aiming to repair collisions in under an hour. Oh my God, that one is really funny. Car elevator to your home. Elon Musk said his tunnel would have elevators that transported cars into residential garages. Boring Company will transport your car all the way into your garage. Elon Musk promised that Tesla Gigafactory would be solar powered by the end of 2019. Elon Musk said pod-like electric skates going up 150 miles an hour could soon take fans to Dodgers games. 420 funding secured. We already made fun of that. He would rescue the children stuck in a cave with a custom mini sub. That one was one of my favorite. Elon Musk decided to fix Flint's lead water crisis. Elon Musk promised employees that there would be no more layoffs. Elon Musk announced cell phone rattle detection R&D. We are working on allowing you to use your phone in a car when you hear a rattle or squeak and pinpoint the origin by acoustic signature and triangulation. Elon promised customers that Teslas can work with a failed motor. Tesla AWD is dual motor, so you can fully drive a car even if one breaks. That's true. That one he promised, and he actually can. Is that correct? Megaphonics is our Elon Musk simp. I mean, I've never had one 15-year-old car. For real, there are cars with several 100K miles and no brake service, no rust on pads. Rust is on rotors and gets cleared by using the brakes. EVs with dual motors will sleep one of the motors at cruising speed and just operate on one. Fango, our two resident EV nerds are fighting one another right now in the chat over the lifetime brake pad thing. I'm starting a candy company. It's going to be amazing. I'm super serious. He said he would create a media credibility rating site, which that was funny. Anyway, okay, I'm bored. But yeah, this is just a fucking litany. The nerd that says they'll wear out is right. So, yeah, Elon lies a lot. I hope that was helpful for some of you to see and understand. But you know. He would have never bought Twitter if he wasn't forced to buy Twitter, by the way. So I hope you understand that.
You know, if Disney feels comfortable advertising, you know, children's movies, and Apple feels comfortable advertising iPhones, those are good indicators that Twitter is a good place to advertise.
I want to talk about if you have any regrets. And you know, I think you were booed at a Dave Chappelle concert. I think your own lawyer said a little. Well, some say a little, some say a bit more. I think your own lawyer said you couldn't get a fair trial in San Francisco because there are lots of people that don't necessarily like you here.
Yeah, but you know, I have to say I was wrong. He was wrong, I guess, because I was acquitted by the San Francisco jury unanimously. So. Yeah.
But I guess.
But look,
do you have any regrets buying Twitter?
I think it was something that needed to be done.
I mean, you said earlier
quite
that
difficult, you know.
Come on, bro. If you push back, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Push back. He didn't want to buy Twitter. He was forced to buy Twitter. If you don't even get this down, I don't know what to tell you. You should just leave your badge after this interview. You are no longer a journalist. You are just a meat writer.
I'd say the pain level of Twitter has been extremely high. This hasn't been some sort of party. So it's been really quite a stressful situation, you know, for the last several months. Not an easy one. But apart from the pain, I mean, so it's been quite painful. But I think at the end of the day, it should have been done. I think. Were there many mistakes made along the way? Of course, you know, but you know, all's well that ends well, and so I feel like we're headed to a good place. You know, we're roughly break even. I think we're trending towards being cash flow positive very soon, like literally in a matter of months. The advertisers are returning. I think the quality of recommended tweets.
Bro, even in the interview itself, he just contradicts himself. Like, he's like, nah, Twitter is doing great. The water is warm, you know? Dip in. And then turns around and is like, okay, it's going to be great. I promise. Like, please believe me. It's going to be great. It's going to be so fucking sick.
Has improved significantly, and we've taken a lot of feedback from people that have looked at the open source recommendation algorithm, and we've made a lot of improvements even since that was made open source, and we're going to keep doing that. So overall, I think the trend is very good. So.
Well, let's unpack this further with our business reporter, Joao Da Silva, who joins us from our bureau in Singapore. Joao, it was an
I'm sorry, you can't fucking lick your wounds after conducting a shitty interview. I'm not letting BBC do that right now. Okay? That is literally what they're doing. They did a shitty interview. Elon said a whole bunch of nothing, which is what you're expecting from CEOs. And that's what your expectation should be, which is precisely the reason why you should absolutely fucking, do your very best to parse through that misinformation with actual information that you prepared ahead of time. That's what a good journalist is supposed to do. You didn't even fucking prepare. Like, what is this? This looks like it was haphazardly put together last second by a bunch of people who were just like, oh, fuck, we have an opportunity to talk to him.
Extraordinary conversation. You and I were both watching it live. You in our bureau in Singapore, me in the studio here in London. He had so much to say about so many things, but when it comes to Twitter itself and the business, he does sound confident. He is telling us all we'll be back in profit soon and advertisers will be back.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. But Elon Musk did sound very upbeat in that interview. He talked about daily usage being up and yes, the company finally breaking even now that, according to him, advertisers are back. He told James at one point how the situation was bleak when he first took over, accused the previous management of running it as a non-profit, saying that the company had only, in his own words, a few months to live. And he said that, like other internet companies, Twitter was facing a massive drop in revenue. All of that to justify, of course, those controversial mass layoffs that we saw at Twitter earlier this year. He admitted that the headcount has gone from 8,000 to 1,500 under his leadership. The thing is, many analysts are saying that medicine might actually be the poison that's hurting Twitter. Many people in the content moderation team have been fired, and advertisers fear that increases the likelihood that their
I mean, here's the one thing. As a private company, you can basically he owns it, right? So you can pretty much lie about a lot of shit. Even as a fucking publicly traded company, you often get away with lying about a bunch of shit, right? And but because it's Twitter and it's so prominent in media, it's used as a tool so frequently by journalists that you can't really get away with a lot of your lies on Twitter as it pertains to Twitter because everyone fucking sees it. You know what I mean? When you say oh, dude, no, actually Twitter is doing incredible. Like when you say, oh, the Twitter advertising is actually doing gangbusters, you're like, is it? Like I don't see what you're fucking talking about. It seems like you're lying. There's obviously more to back up that sentiment, that skepticism. There's information that you can use, which they fucked up and did not use, right? Like major advertisers pulling out. They should have gone to those major advertisers and asked them if they actually committed to pulling out entirely or if they got back. But one thing that you can absolutely point to, for example, is the evisceration of any kind of, one, content moderation, and two, the actual editorial teams that used to create the trending tabs. That part is now just algo dictated, and it fucking sucks. I have not touched the trending tab since Elon took over and fired the entire team. It used to make the website experience a lot better. It's gone. It's complete shit. And you will never find a human being that will tell you, no, actually, it's better this way. There's more in the interview. Is there more that I missed on?
Add that, we
where's the full interview? Because this is not it.
have spoken to people who have been sacked that used to be in content moderation, and we've spoken to people very recently who were involved in moderation, and they just say there's not enough people to police this stuff, particularly around hate speech in the company.
The whole interview is over an hour. Where is it? Can someone send it to me? I don't want to watch the whole hour-long one, but as far as a lack of content moderation, Elon Musk needs to address why there are prominent Nazis on his platform and prominent white supremacist accounts on his platform that are openly flexing that they have thousands of subscribers, thousands of followers.
First of all, why did you agree to do this interview with the BBC?
I don't know, I like spontaneity. And I don't know, there's a lot going on, and it seems like I actually do have a lot of respect for the BBC. Although sometimes I forget what the BBC stands for, but what is it? Just kidding.
You know what it stands for.
Yes, I do. Yeah. So there's a lot going on. So I thought this might be a good opportunity to answer some questions and, I guess maybe get some feedback too. What should we be doing different? I know the BBC, for example, is not thrilled about being labelled state-affiliated media.
Not exactly. I mean, I was going to get to that later, but let's go for it now. It's officially objected to that term. Do you want to respond to it?
Yeah. So our goal is simply to to be as truthful and accurate as possible. So I think we're adjusting the label to be publicly funded, which I think is perhaps not too objectionable. We're trying to be accurate.
I'm not the BBC, but
Yeah, for the record, that is the only good thing that he's done. Like, in a sea of nonsensical bullshit that has like eviscerated this major platform, that is probably the only good thing he's done. Labeling Western state broadcasters as state broadcasters is not a bad thing. It's correct.
but publicly funded is how the BBC describes it.
Okay. So that would be accurate.
Itself.
If we use the same words that the BBC uses to describe itself, that presumably would be okay. I'm not asking you for a yes or no since you're not running the BBC per se. But it's probably. It seems to pass a reasonable
So you're
test.
going to change those labels on the BBC Twitter feed and also NPR's as well?
Yeah.
Right.
Publicly funded. Basically, that's we're trying to be as accurate as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fine. First of all, I just want to clear something up. Are you sleeping in the office? Here?
I sometimes sleep in the office.
Like?
In the library.
5 days a week?
No.
3 days a week?
I'm not here 5 days a week. But there's a library that nobody goes to on the 7th floor, and there's a couch there, and I sleep there sometimes.
Okay. In terms of the general overview, the reason why I think you've agreed to do this is because you wanted to talk about the first 6 months as chief executive owner of Twitter.
Yeah, it's kind of like whatever you want to talk about,
Right. So, how do you think it's gone?
Well, it's not been boring. It's been quite a roller coaster. Things are going, I think, reasonably well. I mean, we've seen some all-time highs in terms of total user time. So we passed 8 billion user minutes per day, which is a lot of user minutes. So usage is up, growth is good, the site works mostly. We have a few glitches here and there, but the site is working fairly well. And we're doing it with a small fraction of the original, headcount. So,
I mean, you mentioned outages there. There have been several. Yeah. And we've actually spoken to an engineer who works at Twitter, and they said that the plumbing is broken here and it's on fire and there could be problems at any minute. Do you accept that?
No, I mean, there have been a few outages, but not for very long, and it's currently working fine.
So you don't. It doesn't keep you up at night that Twitter might go offline again.
At this point, I think we've got a pretty good handle on what makes Twitter work. And we're also doing it with 2 data centers instead of 3. So we used to have 3 data centers. We shut down one of them. So we were actually roughly two-thirds of the prior compute capability. But we've made so many improvements to the core algorithm. In some cases, we improved the core algorithm by 80%. So the actual CPU usage or computer usage is dramatically less.
Okay, let's see what
usually come across as a bit of an out-of-his-depth dweeb. But in an interview with the BBC's James Clayton, there was at least one exchange where he came out on top.
We have spoken to people who have been sacked that used to be in content moderation, and we've spoken to people very recently who were involved in moderation, and they just say there's not enough people to police this stuff, particularly around hate speech. in the company. Is that
What hate speech are you talking about? I mean, you use Twitter.
Right.
Oh, this is what is like being promoted all around, where they're like, this is a slam dunk by Elon.
Do you see a rise in hate speech?
I mean,
but just a personal anecdote. Like, what do you? I don't.
Personally, my For You, I would see I get more of that kind of content. Yeah, personally. But I'm not going to talk to the rest of for the rest of Twitter.
So you see more hate speech personally?
I would say I would see more hateful content in that.
Content you don't like or hateful? What do you mean to describe a hateful thing?
Yeah, I mean, just content that will solicit a reaction, something that may.
Yeah, he's just like winding down from hate speech to like, oh, hate speech doesn't mean something you don't like. Okay? The reality is he could have just been like, yeah, I see Nazis. You restored accounts of Nazis. You restored the accounts of Nazis, and I sometimes see them on my For You page because that's what you did. Okay? You see the Kenneth drama? I don't know what the Kenneth drama is. Like, yeah, thank you, Elon, for fixing Twitter. I'm glad I can now see accounts like Racial Consciousness post videos of shitty pencil sharpeners. This is an account that literally has openly boasted about being the verified largest white supremacist fucking account.
Include something that is slightly racist or slightly sexist, those kinds of things.
So you think if something is slightly sexist, it should be banned?
This part sucks because like he's not doing a good job.
No, is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything. I'm
just curious. I'm trying to understand what you mean by hateful content, and I'm asking for specific examples.
Like it's so fucked up. He could have just easily been like the Racial Consciousness account. It openly boasts having 70,000 followers. You're getting just curious by a dude who's not even that smart. That is a verified example. That's it. And not only that, but also this just happened too, which makes this even funnier. Twitter could be facing a slew of fines in Germany over illegal hate speech to the tune of 30 billion. You can't win in this position because I see Nazis on my For You page. Feels like telling on yourself, even if it isn't. Yeah, no, it's fucking ridiculous. He should say that. He should be like, I, as a journalist, am seeing Nazi accounts on my For You page. It's fine. I follow random right-wing commentary on my For You page, but I've never had Nazi accounts being served to me because they were fucking banned, and you unbanned them.
And you just said that if something is slightly sexist, that's hateful content. Does that mean that it should be banned?
Well, you've asked me whether my feed, whether it's got less or more. I'd say it's got slightly more.
That's why I'm asking for examples. Can you name one example?
I honestly don't use. Honestly, I
you
don't.
Can't name a single example.
I'll tell you why. Because I don't actually use that For You feed anymore. Because I just don't particularly like it.
But you said
actually, a lot of people are quite similar. I only look at
hang on
my
a second.
following.
You said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And
well, then how did you see that hateful content?
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen the For You hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying
I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet. And yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's a false.
No, what I claimed.
You just lied.
What I claimed was there are many organizations that say that kind of information is on the rise. Now, whether it has on my feed or not, I mean, right. And
literally can't.
He's right. That's the worst part. Elon is correct on this. Give one fucking example, idiot. There are literally surveys conducted on it. There are studies on it. that have been tracking the rise of hate speech. How do you not do your fucking due diligence in this regard? Of course this is going to turn out to be a fucking debate. You're talking to a debate lord. Every journalist, when they are conducting interviews like this, should take a contentious position. This is not supposed to be a safe space for Elon to say whatever the fuck he wants without an ounce of scrutiny. It blows my fucking mind. This was just an abject failure, dude. Blows my fucking mind.
Something like the Strategic Dialogue Institute in the UK, they will say that. So
look, people will say all sorts of nonsense. I'm literally asking for a single example, and you can't name one.
Right, and as I've already said, I don't use that feed. But
then how would you know that?
I don't think this is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more hateful content, and then couldn't name a single example.
Right, and as I said,
that's absurd.
I haven't actually looked at that feed.
Then how would you know there's hateful content?
Because I'm saying that's what I saw a few weeks ago. I can't give you an exact example. Let's move on. We only have a certain amount of time.
Wow.
That was the moment he fucked up. I'm seeing in my For You feed lots more hateful content. And then he says, give me an example. Actually, I don't use my For You feed. And I haven't used it for weeks. Dahlia, I mean, in that guy's defense, apparently he got very short notice to do the interview. I'm sure he was a bit terrified. The most high-profile interview he's done in his life. But that was bad, wasn't it?
That was excruciating in many ways. And I think that had he, I don't know, had the time or, you know, had the expertise, I think a lot of people who work in, you know, content moderation or whatever will have watched that and been like, you had a golden opportunity to like really put to Elon Musk like the problems that are going on in Twitter, and you just fumbled it. So it was excruciating. It's not as much of a win for Elon Musk as I think it's being made out to be, because I think if your entire argument that what's happening on Twitter is fine is resting on the idea that you can't come up with a concrete example of hate speech on the platform, it's going to fall apart pretty quickly, even though not in that interview. But I mean, come on, you know, like.
Yeah, like we just did. We showed you immediately. She's right. Yeah. That's the other part of this. Like, you can just immediately hit two different fucking notes and eviscerate Elon Musk's idiotic expectation of anecdotes, because there are plenty of fucking anecdotes to draw from.
Products will appear next to toxic content on the platform. And we do know that major advertisers like Volkswagen, like General Motors did pause their relationship with Twitter earlier this year. So we'll have to really wait and see whether indeed Musk has reason to be optimistic about Twitter's future.
Okay, Joao, thank you very much. Joao Da Silva in Singapore. Just to say, online, you can...
So dumb.